Welcome to Day 4 of the 2018 DF95 Global Championship. I'm Chuck LeMahieu as we get ready to go on with race 11B. We are under cloudy skies. It's about 50 degrees. Winds out of the north to northeast today, about 7 to 8 knots this morning. Supposed to pick up later in the day. The fleet is getting ready for the start of race 11 Bravo. We're in the sequence as the boats are getting ready to start. We'll have our drone shot up momentarily. Looks to be about 10-15 seconds left to the start. Looks like most of the fleet's spread out pretty good across the line. And it looks like the boats are off to a good start. We'll have our drone shot up so we can get you updated on where the boats are at. We can get zoomed in here and check out the action. To the right of your screen there in white, it looks like Jonas Sampson had to pull his boat out early. We'll try to find out what happened there. But the boats are moving up to windward. And as soon as we can get our drone shot up, we will get some nice views of live action racing. As we go to our live overhead drone shot, looks like most of the fleet's headed off on the port tack from the left to the right of your screen. They are headed up to the two marks you see up there at windward. It's going to be the orange and white marks. One boat's tacking early underneath. He's a starboard boat, so he is the right-of-way boat. The other boat's going to have to give away. Oh, it looks like the other boat didn't clear, so we have an incident there. Somebody's going to have to do a penalty turn, and looks like he's doing that. Now more of the boats are breaking towards the mark. Looks like the boats that carried it in underneath having a little bit of an advantage. Light conditions out here today as they try to make their way to the windward mark. Boats are coming quickly to the windward mark. We have Tim Long and John Jorgensen coming in. Looks like there's a boat there. It looks like Phil Burgess is going to duck underneath. Manages to squeeze in between them. So your first three boats around are Tim Long, John Jorgensen, and Phil Burgess. The boats are quickly heading downwind to the leeward marks. It's a gate today, as always. We're running windward leeward for the championships, so we can get some good tactical racing in. Looks like we also have Chris Macaluso, Wayne Stobbs, Steve Washburn rounding. Looks like Tim had to do a penalty turn from a foul there. So now John Jorgensen has the lead, heading down to the first downwind run to the leeward gate. The boats are moving quickly downwind as we move to the leeward gate. Looks like John Jorgensen's hanging on. Looks like Phil Burgess on the inside is making some nice ground up, though. They can go through the gate and choose to go to either side. Sometimes you're going to get an advantage from a lift, what we call it, or a knock, depending on which way the wind blows. Looks like John's going to the outside gate. Phil choosing to go the long way to the outside gate, so some boats are going to be able to sail underneath here. Looks like Martin Gray, Chris Macaluso, Phil and John go to the outside. Three boats go to the inside, so the fleet evenly splits. There's Steve Washburn, Dennis Rogers. As the boats head to windward again for the second leg, we'll do one more windward leg, and then the boats will head back downwind through the gate, and then they'll go through the start-finish for the finish of the heat. So we have Tim Long moving nicely up the middle of the course. It looks like we still have Phil Burgess in the lead in the middle and with Chris Macaluso, and we have about 4 boats heading to the outside. Nice split in the fleet. Good tactical racing. Boats are headed back upwind. You can see the wave train. Looks like Steve Washburn there in the middle in the blue boat. It's making some, has a nice angle up, maybe getting a little bit of a lift. Looks like the yellow boat, John Jorgensen's headed in behind. He's coming in behind Steve Washburn and Phil Rogers. So it looks like Phil still has the lead. The boat at the bottom of your screen is Buzz Coleman. Tim Long tacks off along with Chris Macaluso, headed back on starboard towards the middle. Buzz is on the outside, but it looks like Phil Burgess still has the lead in the middle of your screen, headed left to right here at the Global Championship. Phil Burgess still in the lead in the middle of the course, but you can see at the top of the screen heading towards the docks, you got Buzz Coleman and John Jorgensen. Tim Long in the middle of the screen, still making good progress. Chris Macaluso's made really nice progress there on the outside, but boats are staying tightly bunched, but it looks like Phil Burgess is stretching out his lead here, coming in on port to the windward mark. Makes a nice tack, nice rounding by Phil. Headed to the offset and then headed downwind for the final downwind run. Here on your screen, we can see Buzz Coleman coming around in second. Looks like Chris Macaluso's in third, followed by Steve Washburn in the 75 boat. Tim Long making a nice move there, able to squeeze in past Steve. John Jorgensen, Baron Brummer, Danny Thomas, Martin Gray. 195 is Wolfgang Korn from Germany, all headed downwind for the final downwind run. Phil Burgess off to a commanding lead in this race, followed by Buzz Coleman, Chris Macaluso, Tim Long, and Steve Washburn. Top four boats in the B heat will move to Heat 11A. Bottom four boats will drop back down to the C fleet. As we come to the final upwind leg, Phil Burgess rounds to the outside, heads up on port for the start finish. Great live aerial shot there by our drone pilot Sparky Sorensen. You can see the waves splashing off the front of Phil's boat as he quickly makes his way to the start-finish line to promote up to Heat 11A. Phil tacks on to starboard as he heads for the final run to the start-finish. You can see the other boats still rounding up quickly. It's going to be interesting to see who comes in second, third, and fourth to promote out. Looks like we might have a really close finish here. One final tack here for Phil Burgess from Australia to promote up into the A fleet. Be an interesting race to see who can finish behind him, because there's a lot of boats battling for second, third, and fourth. Great one design racing out here with the Dragonflight. Chris Macaluso's coming in screen in 03, along with Buzz Coleman from GBR, Steve Washburn from California. Looks like a boat coming at the top of the screen there is Danny Thomas. Going to be very, very tight to see who promotes up. Looks like Steve Washburn's going to cross, followed by Danny Thomas, Buzz. Baron Brummer's at the top of the screen, just out of the screen. It's going to be up to our judge, Mark Foster, to see who actually made it up into the A fleet, and we will let you know. Tim Long cross, Dennis Rogers, Wolfgang Korn, Martin Gray. There's Paulo Capa, Wayne Stobbs. Just a very close, tight race. Great way to start the day off here in Heat 11B.